Hi, I'm Joe Jones, President of the Urban League of West Michigan. I'm pleased to start this conversation about K-Connect's journey to its end in mind. 6 years ago, I served with 19 other community leaders on the original steering committee that worked to create K-Connect. And I can remember like it was yesterday because it was a room full of committed individuals and there was a significant amount of tension. We were engaged in very uncomfortable conversations, but I will tell you that's what made the work so impactful. It's my belief that when we engage in the uncomfortable, that's where the opportunity presents itself for real growth and real opportunity. At that time, collective impact was a new national movement, and we were all curious about it and we wanted to explore it. It was an idea focused on the concept that together is better. Those early aspirations, they grew into a realization that something needed to change, and we needed a group committed to making that happen. Being part of those original conversations, and now seeing the many, many community members and organizations working together to find new solutions to old problems, but doing so with an unwavering commitment to children and equity. Well, that gives me significant hope. K-Connect ultimately began as a dream to simply bring change to Kent County. But with the help of FSG, a national consultancy, and significant feedback from the community, our prenatal to career common agenda and roadmap began to take shape. A common agenda is based on the idea that despite our differences, there's a strong likelihood that there is a mutual ground and shared beliefs that we can build a commitment around. In our case, here in Kent County, we decided to go big or go home and chose to develop a common agenda for all children in Kent County, from prenatal to career. The newly created common agenda and roadmap ultimately paved the way for the early formation of K-Connect. Its structure, including the vital support of the backbone and the initial work that needed to get underway. Most importantly, it cast a compelling purpose and vision for K-Connect's work. That purpose and vision is really what we're talking about today, the end in mind, to ensure that all children in Kent County have an equitable path to economic prosperity through quality education, family, and community supports.
I'm Krista Flynn, Regional President at Chemical Bank and Board of Trustee members for K-Connect. I'm also the co-chair for the Accountability Partners Council. We are all K-Connect, our work group members, supporters, funders, partners, and the Board of Trustees. As we celebrate our 5th year in existence, we're proud to say we do have a common agenda for children in Kent County. So let's take a look at where K-Connect is today. One of K-Connect's strengths is developing the process through which we get our work done. In creating our first plan, called the Process Framework, K-Connect provided its work groups with a flexible yet structured process to begin moving forward. By partnering facilitators with work group co-chairs, the backbone staff developed a framework that the work groups could adhere to in order to vet and identify indicators and ultimately move the network towards strategy development. K-Connect is extremely data-driven, and we operate under the philosophy that measuring is integral to determining whether we are making a positive impact on the systems in our community. Have you ever heard the saying, "What gets measured gets done"? Our data and capacity work group helps guide our data strategy and development to ensure that we're measuring what really matters. Not only are we collecting data, but we are disaggregating it in order to show the impact that the systems are having on those from marginalized communities. For example, while college readiness is measured by the 11th grade SAT has improved over the last 3 years in the county, the overall percentage of Black and African American students in Kent ISD who are proficient in the SAT decreased during the same period, resulting in a 40% gap between the two groups. These inequities are the reason we have equity at the core of everything we are trying to achieve for the children and young adults in Kent County. With data at the heart of the work we're doing, we can effectively demonstrate the impact that we're making in our community. It's more than just numbers. It's the thousands of children and young adults in our community that the work is impacting. It's the newly pregnant mother, the preschooler, the middle school students, the high school graduate, the college graduate, and the business owner. It's a passion for changing systems in order to change lives.
I'm Melinda Sassi, Executive Director of The Source. I've been proud to serve as K-Connect's APC co-chair. Our APC serves as the large convening space for all of K-Connect's network. It's the only space where we bring all our work together and think about it collectively face to face. It's also the space where K-Connect's work gets shaped and refined in ways that none of us might imagine individually or even within our own singular work groups. Step number 6 is focused on community engagement. The data collected on the dashboard illuminates areas in our community where disparities are most prevalent. We acknowledge that these disparities are a result of systemic failures rather than individual deficits. Those of us that are working out of organizations and institutions cannot assume that we will solve systemic problems without the critical expertise from those with lived experience. Real change is only achievable together. In step number 6, K-Connect will, hypothetically speaking, hold open our hands and share the tools and capabilities we can offer. Facilitation, process management, and data collection and analysis. From a frame of appreciative inquiry, we will ask if what we have to offer may be helpful to the work that is already underway within communities. If there is an expressed desire to partner, then we will move to step 7. If not, then we will continue to listen, learn, and apply new knowledge to our process. We know that community trust has been broken in the past, and as an institutional partner, trust is something we will continue to earn over time. Our goal is simple: to provide all the support and tools we can to make systems more equitable and successful for children and families living in marginalized and economically disadvantaged communities. But we aren't as interested in claiming these wins as our own. We want to be the glue that organizes and supports. The network, not the backbone staff, is the part of K-Connect structure that ultimately gives the affirming voice to propose strategies and then gets behind them in a way that compels others to do the same. Our next step is to activate workgroup partners who have been gathered and who stand ready with deep institutional knowledge, tools, and resources. The workgroup shifts slightly in function to something more of a resource hub for this part of our journey. We also look to community leaders to help identify resource investments, anything from talent to influence that may be needed to further bolden the strategy. K-Connect and the Backbone as the coordinator brings these pieces together to lift courageous strategies for pilot. At this point, we collaborate broadly and bring the proposed strategy to the full APC for presentation. And with hope, affirmation through its deliberative decision-making process. If the strategy is affirmed, it will move forward to step number 9, which is to implement the strategy. If the APC votes that the strategy missed the mark and didn't meet the affirming threshold, it goes back to the workgroup and strategy team. And it is not implemented without changes before being presented at a future APC. Let's assume we received affirmation of our strategy. The next logical step is to try it out. The strategy is tested through limited implementation. K-Connect's role in this phase is to again support and bring together people through the strategy team and to share continuous learning and assist with mid-course correction based on those learnings, and to assure constant and appropriate communication about the strategy is being shared internally to our network and externally to our community. So much of K-Connect's work requires relationships and trust. These two pieces will continue to be at the heart of our work. However, we know that countless people want to engage, but aren't able to for various reasons. We want a relationship with these people too. So the idea behind this part of our journey is to set a target to reach 10% of our county's population. Through a number of interrelated web-based platforms, admittedly not yet defined, we would afford virtual access to engage. The goal of 10% of community engagement will be aimed at garnering a broad movement-making support across the 25 indicators. Our interest here isn't about increasing awareness for K-Connect's brand, it's in building engagement and connectedness well beyond the seats within this room.
The next step in the process is to evaluate to see how the strategy made an impact in Kent County. Data, both qualitative and quantitative, collected before, during, and after the pilot period will be analyzed and reported to the strategy team and workgroup. If the pilot was successful and meets scale criteria, then a plan for enhancing the strategy's reach will begin to include a process for consideration by the APC. Much like stages 6, 7, and 8, K-Connect will continue to support the expansion through our data, process, facilitation, and equity capacity building. If the pilot was not successful, we'll see this as an opportunity to listen, learn, and record these learnings so that they can be used by others who may wish to build on our learnings in the future. The goal here is to begin to transform our systems so that the new normal is together, and the non-negotiable focus of our work is children and families. Racialized and economic gaps will begin disappearing, and we will be watching our progress and measuring it through both quantifiable and qualitative means. While we may be referencing this journey as the end in mind, Step 12 really isn't the end. K-Connect's work is a continuous cycle for improvement. We should become masters of learning, iterating, co-creating, implementing, and learning again, all aimed at building a movement within this community with a commitment to ensure all children have an equitable path to economic prosperity through quality education, family, and community support.